Ethical Considerations of Zoos, a video documentary by Kayla Davis, Kaylee Kemp, Kayla Trout, and Cassie Weber. Zoos are known for being places where people can go in order to observe and learn about exotic animals. Many zoos have conservation programs, education programs, and even do fundraisers to help contribute either to their own improvement or to larger conservation programs. However, there is also a lot of controversy surrounding zoos and what they do. Many people believe that they are cruel to animals because they're kept in enclosures that are unnatural, or that the benefits of zoos do not outweigh the harm that they may be doing to those animals. There are organizations that help regulate zoos, so, for example, the AZA accredits and certifies zoos throughout the world, including the United States, Canada, Singapore, Hong Kong, and Argentina. The standards of this organization include welfare and management, safety of animals and guests, facilities, ambassador animals, and much more. Unfortunately, these standards are not required for zoos to operate, and of the thousands of zoos in existence, only 232 are accredited. In this video, we will be discussing a few controversies surrounding zoos and their operations.
Zoos provide various educational opportunities for people, especially children. There have been several studies done that demonstrate that the use of live animals increases people's knowledge retention as well as influences people's views about wildlife, conservation, and the environment. Millions of children visit zoos every year with their schools in order to learn more about biology and work with live animals. In a study conducted to evaluate children's learning at the zoo, one significant finding was the increase in the number of children who believed they could make a difference in an animal extinction and conservation. The question to consider is, should our educational opportunities at zoos outweigh the potential animal welfare issues? Zoo animals used for education are in captivity and have daily human interaction. In a study conducted in New Zealand, 2 different classes of students were evaluated on their learning from attending a zoo field trip. One analysis from the research was that students found learning from the adult zoo educators was the most boring part of their trip, signifying that despite the best efforts of zoo educators, the overall educational impact being made is slim. In another study conducted regarding polar bear FGM levels in zoos, found that stereotypic pacing behavior is associated with elevated FGM levels. FGM levels are a measurement commonly used to detect stress in animals. The researchers described polar bears as animals with limitless horizons, needing to live in an open environment where they can see for long distances. So the question that remains is, should we subject these animals to potentially stressful situations just for human educational purposes?
Due to size constraints, zoos are not able to have each animal in an enclosure that would be equivalent in size to their natural habitats. There are many different things that are done to enrich habitat and behaviors of animals kept in captivity that help them display typical species-specific behaviors that are seen in the wild. This variety of activities and enrichment methods leads to some challenges when animals are transferred between zoos due to them not recognizing their surroundings or other animals within their enclosure. Transferring animals from one zoo to another will increase their stress levels due to causing them to have to rebuild social structures within a new herd or flock, as well as losing the interaction and enrichment that can be provided by working with the same group of handlers. This is why trying to keep practices for enrichment similar between zoos is something that should be studied and a method put into place for it, as it will allow a way to reduce the stress that occurs when animals are moved. Found that giving rewards for desired behaviors such as foraging and hunting causes animals to be more active. This leads to the public being more likely to stay and observe that animal for a longer period of time, allowing them to learn more about the species as a whole due to the different papers and information guides that are near that exhibit.
As countries become more populated and the world's biomes slowly disappear, many species have become endangered. The International Union for Conservation of Nature and the U.S. Endangered Species Act has acknowledged that captive breeding programs can contribute to protecting many of the world's dwindling populations. A recent evaluation has recorded that the world's captive breeding programs have played a large contributing role in the recovery of 17 of the 68 species that were critically endangered, a couple being the black-footed ferret and the California condor. What is unique about captive breeding programs within the confines of the zoo is that it provides an insurance policy to these endangered species, without the threat of disease or competition from non-native species. What becomes difficult when looking at captive breeding programs is the ability of these programs to continue to uphold a high level of genetic diversity. While zoos do house many different species, only a small percentage of them are involved in breeding programs. Many of the species that are involved in these programs are large mammals that may not be the best candidates for reintroduction or release into the wild. But due to social and political influence and funding, many zoos are pushed to be involved with these breeding programs. A study done by Malapur et al. On reproductive behaviors of lion-tailed macaques housed in zoos found that the absence of species-specific environmental stimuli was detrimental to the development of natural breeding behaviors.
There appear to be many controversies on this subject, some of which may not have been covered in this video. While points can be made about whether or not zoos are ethical, it is almost impossible to say for sure which point of view is correct, and the fact is, neither side is truly right or wrong. Considering the variability in how zoos are run and the standards that they choose to meet, it is likely that there is some truth to both sides of the argument.